Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome to episode 40 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you this evening from YouTube. If you've tuned in live, thank you very much indeed. Please feel free to give likes and to subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. If you're watching after the live broadcast, please feel free to leave a comment, ask a question. I usually try to get around to all of them at some point. And I also try to link to the videos on Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, please feel free to leave a comment, ask a question there too. This is going to be a single perfume episode of Love at First Scent. I'm actually going to nudge the perfume because I can see it in the monitor over there and it's freaking me out, the fact that it's just perched here and that the whole thing might collapse. You may remember from an earlier episode that I did that although I am very much planning to, hi Ashfaq, thanks for tuning in, I'm very much planning to continue doing the longer form Love at First Scent videos every 3 weeks or so. I'm also going to try to do a few shorter single perfume episodes. But before I do that, and before we smell this one, which is a fairly new release from Miller Harris, I should just, apologies to people who just saw me doing this on another live broadcast a few minutes ago, but as that was somewhere else and this is on YouTube, I should also say, symbolically, because there isn't actually anything in here, thank you very much for the support on Ko-fi. I now have a page on a site called Ko-fi, that's K-O-F-I. I will link to it at the in the video description at the bottom of the video on YouTube. Those of you who aren't already aware, I've done a little post on persolaise.com about what Ko-fi is and why I'm on there. And why I've decided to go on there is essentially it's a way for you to support my work if you would like to do so. And that coffee cup was a way for me to say thank you very, very, very much indeed to the people who have already supported me on Ko-fi. I'm really, really touched by your generosity and also by the comments you've left. Really, really grateful. So check out the Ko-fi page. There'll be a link at the bottom once I've finished and the video and it's been uploaded. So let us, for the sake of this single episode... Oh, Lynn Smell says hello. I didn't do the usual. I knew something felt different. I didn't go on the tablet to make sure that everything was coming through fine. But I suppose the fact that at least 3 people now have said hello to me means that the broadcast is probably working. I have got to say, it is still easier doing this on YouTube than it is on Facebook, but I don't want to completely neglect my Facebook audience. Eric says hello. Thank you very much for saying hello, and hello back to you. So, the one I'd like to look at today is one that I actually tried for the first time. Oh, hi from Virginia says Christy. Oh, thank you very much for tuning in. I always love knowing where you all are, by the way, so please feel free to tell me. I just don't feel like I can keep asking you because you might get annoyed that I'm constantly asking you, but I do genuinely love finding out where you all are. I tried this for the first time the other day. You can probably see that it's from Miller Harris. Can you make out the name? It's Blousy, or Blousy, depending on how you pronounce it, and it's part of their Brighton Rock range. A few months ago, I tried one of the Brighton Rock perfumes called Violet Ida live on Love at First Scent. They've got this one, and they've also actually now got one called Brighton Rock. But I was really taken with this when I first smelt it the other day. I actually wore it yesterday as well. Even though of all the 3 Brighton Rock fragrances, I kind of thought this one would be the one that I'd be least interested in. So I don't know what that says about me, dear friends, that this is the one that I went for. Probably actually the fact that it's a strong floral is the main thing you need to know. But I immediately thought, no, we have to do this on Love at First Scent. Very attractive colour of the bottle, I think. Would you agree? So let's pop that on here. Actually, I'm going to hide it away because I'm really worried that this is going to collapse. And let us have a spray of Blousy from Miller Harris. I've yet to find out who the perfumer is, by the way. If anybody out there knows, because the information is already on the net, please let me know. I'm trying to find out. Oh, I love the opaque purple, says Eric. Yes, yeah, me too. There's something very attractive about it, and I can see it's causing an annoying reflection there. Let's do that. I think, you know, booziness is an effect that's been used in perfumery more than once. But when it's done well, it really works well. And I think what was unusual here for me is that it's a strawberry liqueur, heading in the direction of raspberry, but still very, very distinctly strawberry. And I was really struck, and the blurb at the back of the box actually mentions a strawberry liqueur, and I read it and I thought, oh, really? Is it good? Oh, it's Duchaufour, as it says, Ashfaq. Ah, where'd you get that from? Is that from Fragrantica or Base Notes? Now, see, that doesn't surprise me at all. Miller Harris, just to give you a little bit of background for those of you who aren't aware, is going through an interesting time. Lynn Harris, the British perfumer, who, according to Base Notes, says Ashfaq, thank you very much for checking out Base Notes, by the way, and not the other one. Well done. Miller Harris was originally set up by the British perfumer Lynn Harris, but she sold and left the company a few years ago. She, of course, now is the main perfumer and the owner of a brand called Perfumer H, which has been featured here on Love at First Scent at least once. But what's interesting for the purposes of our video today is that Sarah Rotherham, a lady who was high up at L'Artisan Parfumeur and Penhaligon's, left those two companies and is now in a creative capacity at Miller Harris. And it was during her time at L'Artisan Penhaligon's that Duchaufour did some of his most interesting work for those brands. You know, it was, I'm pretty sure, if I'm saying the wrong thing, somebody can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it was during her time that Duchaufour did Amaranthine for Penhaligon's, certainly things like Sartorial. That makes my interest perk up more, thanks Ashfaq, says Eric. It should. This is, and actually it's gone up even more in my estimation, because I thought, now I'm thinking, okay, this makes sense. It's really, really rich and heady and finely tuned. And Sarah Rotherham, I think, is working with some of her favourite perfumer friends. So she's already got Duchaufour to make a couple of perfumes for Miller Harris. She's got Mathieu Nardin to make a few of them. And she's releasing lots and lots of stuff at Miller Harris, different ranges, the forage range that I talked about on Love at First Scent a little while ago. I want to give a brief mention of this one because it's very interesting. She had the two perfumes inspired by Tender is the Night, so she's kind of wanting to go down a literary route, and of course now we have these ones inspired by Brighton Rock. So basically it's an exciting time for the brands. She's turning the actual boutiques into concept art installations. I think she's doing a lot of work out in the Far East. If you follow her on Instagram, she spends to be spending half her time in the Far East at the moment. In fact, I think she just recently posted on Instagram that she's off to Shanghai or something. So lots of things happening, a real resurgence, a real revival of the brand. And this is very much the sort of perfume that sums it up. I'm not at all surprised it's Duchaufour. I should have looked it up myself, actually, but I thought maybe I didn't think the information would be out there yet. That strawberry note has now made way to a really, really, really rich rose heart, and yet it somehow manages to remain European. Duchaufour, of course, has made some astonishingly rich and very Indian perfumes for Nila Vermeer, including a rose, Moher. But this absolutely couldn't be a Nila Vermeer perfume, because there is maybe in the kind of retro violet powderiness, the sort of purple powderiness, maybe in the fact that it's meant to be inspired by Brighton Rock and the temporal setting of Brighton Rock. There is something about this that could only be Western European. And of course, now that we're thinking Duchaufour, whenever we say Duchaufour, I always think, can I spot an incense note? And you see, now I think I can. But is that just because I now know it's his? I was really, really taken with this, and as I said, I wore it all day yesterday. I haven't got much of a press release, I'm afraid. What I do have, I will share with you now. It says, juicy, fresh strawberries intertwine with the dark, candied beauty of rose. Dark, yes. Candied, maybe not so much, because I think that implies a kind of slightly juvenile quality, which this doesn't really have. It's too sophisticated for that, I think. To create a swirling shade of rouge in the deepest hue. Yes, completely agree. Like burgundy red lips, Blousy leaves a lasting impression. marking the air with a bold signature of fruits and flowers which is distinct and unforgettable. Certainly very, very Moorish. And of course now I'm thinking woods and incense, because we said Duchaufour. Blousy is a full and voluptuous perfume where berries and rose dissolve into darkness, enveloped by the richness of cashmere, which usually means cashmeran, the musk, and the smoothness of woods, creating a charismatic ode to 1930s glamour. And it also mentions violet, iris, and vintage carnation. Violet, yes, I mean, iris and carnation. The iris maybe is being expressed in the form of the powderiness. Carnation, possibly. Although it really is rose and violet, and of course violet instantly makes us think of retro vibe, retro aesthetics. But this really, really worked. Ashfaq says that colour actually reminds me of those fruit bars available at Tesco's and Sainsbury's. I don't know if I know the ones you mean. Do you mean like the kids' ones? I don't know if fruit bars. I don't know the ones you mean. But yes, I suppose it is a candy colour, I guess, actually. But really gorgeous scent. Well, the chewy ones. Oh, I don't know. Quick mention of this. This is the latest addition to the forage range, and it's called Dance Amongst the Lace. And I won't spend a lot of time on it because we are meant to just do one perfume at a time. But really, really interesting exploration of tart, minty, verbena notes that, as the perfume develops, go in really curious, unexpected, almost sort of metallic, sour, mossy direction. I wore that today, actually, and it was quite fascinating. I love it when perfumes try to do fresh, not in an overtly citrus way, and this one certainly does. And maybe we'll find out that this was by Duchaufour as well. I'll go online and try to find out, or maybe you can. But hello from Philadelphia, says Kenzo. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're just about done, but maybe you'll be able to go back and watch from the beginning again. So you've got 2 minutes to ask any questions if you've got any of them. But don't forget, there will be a blotter update a few hours after the end of this broadcast. I love your book stack, says Lynn Smells. Thank you very much. These are genuinely books that I have read. That's mine, as you may have gathered. That's Neil Chapman's. This is a very good one, Lizzie Ostrom's. Because I thought if I'm doing one perfume, then I can't keep assembling the whole assemblage of perfumes. We need to have a stack of books. Probably coming up on Friday, this Friday on the blog, will be a written review of the new Joy Intense from Dior, and the review may not actually be what some of you are expecting. And I also hope to be able to finally share my thoughts with you on the rose and cuir rose leather that Jean-Claude Elena composed for Frédéric Malle, and which has been out for just a few weeks. But for now, likes, thumbs up, hearts, subscriptions are all very welcome. Lynn says, got Lizzie's but not yours yet. It's out of print now. You can probably find it on websites, but it is out of print. And Ashfaq, I missed your comment because I'm slow, and of course I'm not going to be able to get it now because the technology always works. Oh, thanks for reminding, Lynn. Ashfaq says, is that Nicolai book in English? Yes, it's both, I think, in both French and English. And I'm very proud of that one because it mentions yours truly. Actually, I've just realised this is going to be really bad, but quite a few of these books mention yours truly, so something to be proud of. Thanks for the review, says Christy. Nice to hear of something different and new. You're very, very welcome. Yes, I thought we don't often talk about Miller Harris online, but we should, because as I say, there is stuff going on and in that brand. Okay, I shall leave you in peace. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for the support on Coffee. Questions, comments, etc. are always welcome, but until next time, take care. Bye.